Testing. I'd like to call the House Finance Ways and Means Subcommittee to order April 9th. Will the clerk please open the board for roll call? Members, make sure you're signed in. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Chairman, you have 10 members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We have a total of 40 bills on the calendar today. We are also going to take up the constitutional calendar first. And I don't see Chairman Doggett. So, who is? Without objection, we're going to go back to the regular calendar. Since those people are in judiciary right now, we'll catch them when they come back in on a different calendar. So we are on today's calendar, item number 1 by Speaker Pro Tem Marsh, House Bill 649. That bill has been requested to roll 1 week. So without objection, House Bill 649, 1 week. Item number 2 on your calendar, House Bill 55 by Leader Lamberth. We have a motion and second on the bill. Leader Lamberth, you are recognized on House Bill 55.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It does a lot of good things, but you got a long calendar today, and it has a very, very small fiscal note of about $3,900. And I understand it will have to go behind the budget. I'll write y'all a check if that's all it takes to get this out of here, though.
There is an idea of changing the rules to allow members to pay for their own bills. But this year, that is not the case. And so without objection, House Bill 55 will go behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leader Lamberth. You also have item number 3 on the calendar, House Bill 69, also by Leader Lamberth. We have a motion and a second on the bill. Leader Lamberth, you're recognized on this little bit bigger fiscal note, House Bill 69.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. At $800,000, this would be covered by a grant, but I understand from our extraordinarily competent staff that this would also have to go behind the budget. And I have high hopes that someday it might come back out, but I understand where we'll go today. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader Lamberth. Any questions? Seeing none. Without objection, House Bill 69 will go behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I will tell the folks in judiciary to hot step it over here.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Item number 4 on your calendar, House Bill 940 by Leader Camper. Leader Camper, you have a motion and second. You're recognized on House Bill 940.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee. I didn't think this was going to have to go behind the budget, but I'm being told this bill has to go behind the budget, Mr. Chairman.
In spite of your blue attire today, it is going behind the budget, but happy for you to describe the bill.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. What this bill does is merely increases the minimum age required for operating a personal watercraft from 12 to 16.
Thank you. It's because I think this is the one that, because you're moving, you're increasing revenue in a state agency. I'm decreasing revenue.
It's decreasing by just a small amount.
Yeah. But it's still an amount that we're untenable with at the very moment, but that's why it's going to go behind the budget. We'll have further discussion. So without objection, any questions? Without objection, House Bill 940 will go behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members.
Item number 5 on the calendar, House Bill 1134, Chairman Boyd. We have a motion. We have a motion and second on House Bill 1134. Chairman Boyd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And committee, Mr. Chairman, I do have an amendment. I'm showing drafting code 6907.
That is correct. We have a motion and a second on amendment drafting code 006907. For purposes of discussion, we're going to go ahead and put that amendment on. All those in favor of drafting code 6907, say aye. All those opposed. Amendment drafting code 6907 goes on the bill. Chairman Boyd, you're recognized for description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee members, veteran homelessness is a problem across this nation. It is a problem in Tennessee, and this piece of legislation, as amended, seeks to help with that problem by creating some permissive legislation that will allow municipalities the option to provide property tax relief to properties controlled by nonprofit organizations and property used solely to provide permanent affordable housing to low-income households, of which at least 30% of the units are dedicated to provide permanent qualified affordable housing for veterans experiencing homelessness. Mr. Chairman, I move passage.
Thank you for the promotion. Any questions for Chairman Boyd? Chairman Boyd, thank you for this bill. It is permissible to local governments, as you're probably well aware. Our tax relief for veterans and seniors is woefully short. This would give an opportunity for that tax relief to come directly from local governments. And so look forward to further discussion about it. Chairman Crawford, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there any projection of, are y'all already got these in place, or is these, you're going to build in different parts of the state? Because I know it's needed throughout the whole state. So I just wonder what your all's future is with it.
Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we hope that it takes root and moves across the state, but we actually had something in Davidson County that we were working with. The mayor of Nashville and former Representative Darren Jernigan was involved in that, and they actually want to get involved with the development here. And it's actually, I'm excited about what's going on there, and I would like to see it spread to other parts of the state.
Well, thank you for bringing the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. And it is permissive for any local government to do under the current amendment language. So any further questions? Seeing none, will the clerk please open the board for a vote? All those in favor, vote aye. All those opposed, vote no. Has everyone voted? Would anyone like to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
Mr. Chairman, you have 12 ayes, 0 noes.
Thank you, Chairman Boyd. House Bill 1134 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee.
We do see, we're going to jump around a little bit here because I do have some members of Judiciary that have walked in the door. Chairman Doggett, you were recognized on item number 7 first, House Bill 577. Chairman Doggett, I think you also have an amendment drafting code 04877.
That is correct.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. For the purpose of discussion, we're going to add this amendment. All those in favor of amendment drafting code 4877, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, amendment drafting code 4877 is on the bill. Chairman Doggett, you are recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Currently, our county jails that are credited in the tier 1 or tier 2 stipend is limited to $3 or $6 per day. This amendment would move that up to $6 and $12 per day for those jail accreditations.
Thank you, Chairman Doggett, for that description. Any questions? Seeing none, this bill does have a fiscal impact, so therefore we're going to place it behind the budget for further discussion. House Bill, without objection, House Bill 577 goes behind the budget. You, Chairman Doggett, you also have another bill on the constitutional calendar. And we're going to jump over to the constitutional calendar without objection. Item number 1, House Joint Resolution 48 by Chairman Doggett. We have a motion and second on the resolution. You are recognized, Chairman Doggett.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and committees. This amendment to the Constitution, Article 1, Section 35, seeks to expand the rights of victims of crime.
Thank you, Chairman Doggett, for that description. Any questions for Chairman Doggett? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, will you please open the board for a vote? Those in favor of House Joint Resolution 48, please vote aye. Those opposed, vote no. Has everyone voted? Would everyone like to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please take the vote?
Mr. Chairman, you have 11 ayes, 0 noes.
Thank you. The ayes have it. House Joint Resolution 48 moves to full finance. Thank you, Chairman Doggett.
Thank you.
I see Chairman Howell is also in the room. We are going to remain on the constitutional calendar. Item number 2, House Joint Resolution 49 by Chairman Howell. Chairman Howell, you have a motion and second. You are recognized on the resolution.
Thank you, Chairman. HJR 49 is a proposed ballot initiative for a constitutional amendment for bail bonding. It will let the voters of Tennessee decide if judges should have the discretion to keep a violent criminal in jail or let them out on bail. Currently, the Constitution says all prisoners shall be bailable by sufficient sureties unless for capital murder. That's the only non-bailable offense in Tennessee currently. This would change that and allow the judges to have discretion, especially in the extremely violent crimes such as rape of a child. And for that, I would ask passage.
Thank you, Chairman Howell. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, please open the board for a vote. Those in favor of House Joint Resolution 49, moving to full finance, please vote aye. Those opposed, vote no. Will the clerk please take the vote?
Mr. Chairman, you have 12 ayes, 0 noes.
Thank you. The ayes do have it. House Joint Resolution 49 moves to full finance. Thank you, Chairman Allen.
Committee.
Item number 3 on the constitutional calendar, we have Chairman Darby. You are recognized on House Joint Resolution 2.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. HJR 2 was a multi-year effort to include in our state's constitution. The state of Tennessee should never collect a statewide property tax. Taking this belt and suspenders approach allows local governments to continue to operate as normal while ensuring an additional burden is not placed on Tennessee property owners. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Darby. Any questions? Any discussion? Seeing none, we're going to take a vote. Madam Clerk, will you please open the board for a vote? Those in favor of House Joint Resolution 2, moving to full finance, please vote aye. Those opposed, vote no. Would anyone like to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please take the vote?
Mr. Chairman, you have 12 ayes, 0 noes.
Thank you. The ayes do have it. House Joint Resolution 2 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Darby. Item number 4 has been requested by the member to be taken off notice. House Joint Resolution 28 by Chairman Bolso without objection, off notice. We're back to the regular calendar. We're back to the calendar. I see Representative Davis is in the back. Item number 6 on your calendar, House Bill 21. We do have a motion and second on the bill. Representative Davis, I do have 2 timely filed amendments for this bill. Is your desire to put both amendments on?
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
The first amendment I have is Amendment Drafting Code 6794. That's
Yes, sir.
correct. We have a motion on the amendment. We have a motion and a second on the amendment. For the purpose of discussion, we're going to put these amendments on. So all those in favor of Amendment Drafting Code 6794 say aye. The ayes barely have it. Amendment Drafting Code 006794 is on the bill. We're on to drafting Second Amendment, Drafting Code 007001. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
We have a motion and second on the amendment. All those, we're going to put that amendment on for discussion. All those in favor of Amendment Drafting Code 7001, say aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. Drafting Code Amendment 7001 is on the bill. Representative Davis, you are recognized on the bill as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, committee. And so essentially the Amendment 6794 kind of breaks down the sales tax associated with milk, bread, eggs, butter, cheese, fruits, and vegetables for your consideration. I wanted to just hopefully, I know that we live in some challenging financial times right now, but when we can always look to serve our communities and serve every Tennessean by trying to be able to, for them to be able to provide for their families and for those individuals that are not on any sort of assistance programs, that are the working poor or that are on a fixed income, they deserve that relief. And so we want to try to help them in any way that we can. Then also, with regard to Amendment 7001, that was brought to me by the University of Tennessee. And they weren't aware that with their ag extension programs, whenever they may grow crops for research or for different things, they sell those, but they collect sales tax on those. So they requested that they not collect those sales tax on those crops that they sell and to different farmers. So I would definitely appreciate your consideration on that. And I stand ready for any questions.
Thank you, Representative Davis. Representative Shaw, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You kind of started in the middle of your legislation. Just kind of tell me now, what exactly does it do?
I apologize. Thank you. So this legislation has to do with removing the state portion of the sales tax from our food. And I know that has a large fiscal note attached to it. So that's where that amendment that looked at and prioritized really those essentials that families need with regard to eggs and milk and butter. And so that's where I had finance kind of break those down for us. And at least if there's any opportunity for us to return some of those dollars back to our citizens, I would hope that we would do that.
Representative Shaw.
Thank you.
Yes. Any further discussion? Representative Davis, thank you for this bill. I carried a very similar bill regarding unprepared foods several years ago, and it was a lot more money then than it is now. I do think it's something that we can do on all unprepared foods, encourage families to cook food at home and prepare that food as we used to once do much more of. And so it would build communities back into our homes. And so look forward to further discussion on this, but it does have a ginormous fiscal note. So without
Yes, sir.
without objection, House Bill 21 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Committee.
Thank you. Item number 7 we dealt with earlier, so we're on to item 8, House Bill 1125 by Chairman Farmer. I do not see him in the room, so without objection, we're going to send House Bill 1125 to the Hill. We are now to item number 9. Chairman Hawk, you recognize we'll have a motion and second on House Bill 964. Chairman Hawk, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. This does not have a ginormous fiscal note to it. It is legislation brought to us as a housekeeping bill by the architects in coordination with the Departments of Education and Safety and the State Fire Marshal's Office.
Thank you, Chairman Hawk. Any discussion for Chairman Hawk? Seeing none. This does mandate local costs, though, and because it does do that, we are going to place it behind the budget and discuss it at a further time. But you are right. It is a good bill. Look forward to the possibility of doing that to make sure our schools are safe going forward. That being said, without objection, House Bill 964 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. We are on to item number 10, House Bill 1242 by Chair Lady Helton Haynes. We have a motion and second on the bill. Chair Lady Haynes, I think Helton Haynes, we do have an amendment that's timely filed, drafting code 6851. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. We have a motion and second. For the purpose of discussion, we're going to put that amendment on, amendment drafting code 6851. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed. Amendment drafting code 6851 is on the bill. You are now recognized on House Bill 1242 as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It does 3 things to the original bill, changes 3 things. Rather than the Department of Commerce and Insurance and the Attorney General sharing dual oversight authority over enforcement, the bill vests the enforcement of the bill with the Attorney General's office. Number 2, the amendment allows pharmaceutical companies to keep any contract pharmacy restrictions that are in place as of June 1st. So pharmaceutical companies would not be allowed to impose any new restrictions on contract pharmacy locations following June 1st, but they can keep their current restrictions in place. And then it includes language to ensure that savings from the 340B program will be utilized in a manner that adheres to all applicable federal and state laws regarding immigration, citizenship status, abortion, and transgender care for minors. And the grandfathering clause removes the fiscal note. House Bill 1242 as amended would protect access to affordable health care for Tennesseans' most vulnerable patients and the safety net providers that serve them. And that bill does 2 main things. And with that, I stand for question.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Lady Helton Haynes. Any discussion on the bill? Are we ready to vote? Madam Clerk, please open the vote. Those in favor of House Bill 1242, vote aye. Those opposed, vote no. Has everyone voted? Would anyone like to change their vote? Seeing none, hearing none, Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 11 ayes, 0 noes.
The ayes do have it. House Bill 1242 moves to full finance. Thank you, Chair Lady. You also have item number 11 on the calendar, House Bill 1310. We have a motion and I will second it. House Bill 1310. Chair Lady Helton Haynes, you are recognized.
Thank you. This legislation is a modernization and cleanup of the environmental health statutes. It does six things to add in deregulation. First, the legislation will allow for the Food and Safety Code to be modified by rule rather than through the statute. Secondly, this legislation deletes duplicative statutes regarding the rented premises unfit for habitation laws. Third, the legislation updates the definition of a campground to exclude RV parks with no group amenities and year-round tenants. Fourth, the legislation will allow for pool inspections to occur once every 3 months instead of current once per month. Fifth, this legislation decreased the number of inspections required for bed and breakfasts that are currently registered in the state. And the amendment limits the fee increases in proposed rules to no more than 3% per year and no more than 5% over a 5-year period. All the stakeholders, the Department of Health, hospitality, grocery stores, convenience stores are all in agreement. And with
Thank
that, I
you.
stand for questions.
Thank you, Chair Lady Hilton Haynes. What a phenomenal Department of Health omnibus bill you have here before us. Is there any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, are we ready to vote? Madam Clerk, will you please open the board for a vote? All those in favor of House Bill 1310 moving to full finance, vote aye. Those opposed, vote no. Has everyone voted? Would anyone like to change their vote? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, will you please take the vote?
Mr. Chairman, you have 12 ayes, 0 noes.
The ayes do have it. House Bill 1310 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Item number 12 on your calendar, patiently waiting, House Bill 439 by Chairman Halsey. Starts the gold bullion calendar for this year. You do have an amendment drafting code 6925 that is timely filed. Would you like to put that amendment on?
Please, sir.
We do have a motion and a second on the amendment. All those in favor of amendment drafting code 6925 say aye. All those no say no. The ayes do have it. Amendment drafting code 6925 is on the bill. Chairman Halsey, you are recognized on House Bill 439.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And unlike the leader, I can't write a check for the fiscal note on this. If you give me a couple of months, I can talk to Guido, maybe get that done for you. But
we can take the check and hold it if you'd like.
All right.
Thank you.
This bill and the following bill are connected together. And this first one deals and creates a precious metals fund and defines the purpose of a fund and a hedge fund against inflation. It defines how it's administered by the treasurer and where the money comes from for the purpose of establishing a Tennessee mint and the coinage of it. And to speak on this, there's a gentleman that has flown in from Charlotte, actually, to ask your indulgence to address the committee.
Thank you, Chairman Halsey. Any discussion on the bill before we go out of session to hear from testimony? Seeing none, so without objection, we're going to go out of session to hear from, I have JP Cortez, I think it is. Correct. Yes, with the Sound Money Defense League. If you will, when you can come to the podium and be fine. You can state your name for the record, and then you have 3 minutes.
Perfect. My name is JP Cortez. I'm the Executive Director of the Sound Money Defense League. Chair Williams and the rest of the committee, thank you very much for the opportunity to testify before you today. Since 2014, the Sound Money Defense League has worked across the country to remonetize gold and silver by removing taxes on it, by allowing state and state treasurers to invest state funds in physical gold and silver, establishing state depositories, and so on. I stand in strong support of Senate Bill 168. There are several of U.S. states already doing this. Ohio, Wyoming, Utah have already established multi-million-dollar state reserves of physical gold. There is also the question of gold as an asset. I just want to make very clear that gold is among the most liquid assets on the planet, and maintenance costs and trading costs associated with investing in gold are similar, if not lower, to that of many of the state's investments already. Lastly, central banks all over the world are stockpiling gold as an economic phenomenon seems to be happening. So the state of Tennessee it would behoove them to protect their savings and their wealth and their taxpayers' wealth with constitutional gold as well. So with that, I'm available for any questions, and thank you very much for the time.
Thank you very much. Any discussion or questions for Mr. Cortez? Thank you for traveling all this distance. I appreciate that, but we're going to go back into session. As Chairman Halsey said earlier, this bill does have a huge fiscal note. And so without objection, House Bill 439 will go behind the budget. Thank you, Chairman. You also have the next bill on the calendar, item number 13, House Bill 440. Do I have a motion? We have a motion and second on the bill. Chairman Halsey, you're recognized on House Bill 440.
Thank you. The second bill is married up to the first one we just talked about. The first one dealt with coins and specie. This one deals with the depository and the use of it and how it'll be operated. And that's pretty much the bill.
Thank you, Chairman Halsey. Any discussion, questions for Chairman Halsey? Seeing none. So without objection, House Bill 440 does have a fiscal impact. So without objection, we're going to send House Bill 440 to behind the budget. Thank you, Chairman Halsey.
Thank you so much, Committee and Chairman.
Item number 14 on your calendar, House Bill 1218 by Representative Johnson has been asked to roll this bill to the first calendar of 2026. So without objection, House Bill 1218 rolled to first calendar of 2026. Item number 15, I see Chairman Martin is in the back. House Bill 173 by Chairman Martin. You have a motion and second on the bill. Chairman Martin, you're recognized on House Bill
Thank you,
173.
Chairman and Committee. This simply is the Save Rural Hospitals Act. As written, this bill would set rural hospital reimbursements rate at a break-even point based upon the United States Department of Health and Human Services, better aligning us with urban hospital setting rates. With that, I stand ready for question.
Thank you, Chairman Martin. Excellent bill, but it does have a fiscal impact. Any discussion on the bill? Since it does have a cost, we are going to put it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 173 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, Committee and Chair.
I'm sorry. Item number 16 on your calendar, House Bill 1307 by Chairman Moody. You have a motion and second. Chairman Moody, you are recognized.
Thank you so much, members. This bill will take the state-run Achievement School District, better known as ASD, and sunset it. And so what this bill will do is that's what it'll do.
Thank you.
Sunset the ASD.
Thank you, Chair Lady Moody. Any question or discussion? This bill does have fiscal impact, so we're going to have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1307 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, members.
Chairman Terry, I do see you at the back. Oh. You are recognized on item number 17, House Bill 667. You have a motion and second. You are recognized.
Thank you. This bill creates an advisory task force on solid waste to examine and review issues related to solid waste. Within the bill, it sets aside $100,000 from the Solid Waste Management Fund to fund this task force, and I know FNA is working on getting you a letter.
Yes, they are. And so once a letter is received, we will consider it at a later date because it does have fiscal impact currently. So any discussion on the bill from the members? Seeing none, without objection, House Bill 667 will go behind the budget.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
I see Chairman Vaughn has walked into the room. We're skipping one, going to item number 19, House Bill 194 by Chairman Vaughn. You have a motion and second on the bill. Chairman Vaughn, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is this year's NIL revisions. We heard Coach Hardaway on the floor talk about the challenges of today's collegiate landscape, but we want our member institutions that reside in Tennessee to have the best footing they can have inside that the mart of competitive commerce. And so what this does is this updates us based upon case law that has come out since last year. And hopefully we can keep all our sports teams competitive as well as protecting our student athletes and protecting our institution's brands.
Thank you, Chairman Vaughn. Any discussion on the bill? I would like to say, as a former student athlete in the NCAA, I think it's really important that we find ways in order to get students to choose an institution and stick with them. I have a real problem with the way that we're transacting business in the current NIL. I know this speaks to a little bit of that, but Coach Hardaway did say this morning that he's a Memphian. He picked Memphis because that's where home was for him, and he wanted to stay there. And so I think it's important that we create pathways where students can stay for extended period of time instead of 6 or 8 months. So that's my rant for the day. So without any objection, any discussion on the bill, are we ready to vote? Madam Clerk, will you please open the board for a vote? Those in favor of House Bill 194, moving to full finance, please vote aye. Those opposed, vote no. Has everyone voted? Would anyone like to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 10 ayes, 0 noes.
Thank you. The ayes do have it. House Bill 194 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Committee.
Mm-hmm. You also have item number 20 on the calendar, House Bill 541. You do have a motion and second. Chairman Vaughn, you are recognized on House Bill 541.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill, I see my good friend, Representative Shaw, he's heard a lot about it over the last 2 years. This bill deals with peeling back some of the regulations over isolated wetlands and restoring private property owners' rights for the use of their property. Currently, TDEC regulates isolated wetlands as waters of the state, regardless of its benefit to the environment. Everything from tractor ruts and clogged ditches and abandoned feedlots, roadside ditches are treated the same as high-quality wetland ecosystems such as Reelfoot Lake or Wolf River or the Hatchie Scenic River bottom, of which Representative Shaw and I know well. What we're trying to do here is bring our laws into alignment with the other states and many of our border states that do not regulate isolated wetlands at all. As it stands today, Tennessee has one of the most aggressive, progressive environmental regulatory schemes for these places. I wanted to remove them all. North Carolina did it last year. There's 24 states, including all our border states, that don't regulate them at all. But through some work that the TDEC commissioner did last summer, and I'm trying to be a person of compromise, listening to my own words of advice, I have done that. What this bill does is it requires annual reporting of where TDEC directs mitigation money so that we can easily figure out which NGOs are getting paid for and for what with regards to compensatory mitigation. It acknowledges and differentiates the quality and value of various types of wetlands. It establishes the levels of permitting required for that, and it reduces or eliminates the amount of mitigation required for the alteration of the lowest value wetlands. This is, again, it's not what I like, but it is what I agreed to. And if you like heavily regulated, isolated wetlands, the good news is even if we pass this bill, you will still have some of the most heavily regulated isolated wetland legislation in the country protecting them. So that's what I've got in front of me. I'll be happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you, Chairman Vaughn. Any discussion on the bill? This bill does have fiscal impact, so we're going to have to put it behind the budget temporarily, I hope, because I know you've worked on this for entirely too long. I'm very supportive of it. I too think protecting our wetlands is important, but not at the expense of the property owner. And so I think this is a really good idea. Chairman Vaughn.
Given the savings that TDOT is going to be, the expenditure savings, are still going to reside back behind the budget? Not that I'm not really happy there. It's a great place.
There is still a decrease in another fund, although you and I recognize that the impact to TDOT will be in savings will be greater than the other, but it does impact another fund, so it'll go behind the budget, and then we'll have a discussion at a later date in order to do that. And I will commit to advocating as we discuss this going forward. So without objection, House Bill 541 will go behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Vaughn. You also have item number 21 on the calendar, House Bill 542. We have a motion and second on the bill. Chairman Vaughn, you are recognized on House Bill 542.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As many of you know, we allow utility companies to operate as monopolies throughout the state, and the vast majority of them do a great job. What this bill attempts to do is to bring a few market force alternatives to people who are wanting to find a different way to install new infrastructure. This allows people to pay for the installation of utilities. It requires utilities to have that option available, and it sets the parameters under which that option is available. And so that's what we're trying to do is give folks an opportunity whenever timing for the utility is taking too long to get something done, and it gives them the option of installing the infrastructure and dedicating it to that utility at no cost.
Thank you, Chairman Vaughn. Any discussion? This bill also does have fiscal impact, so we're going to have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 542 goes behind the budget. Thank you, Chairman Vaughn. You're recognized also on item number 22, House Bill 543. You do have a motion. I will second it. Chairman Vaughn, you are recognized on House Bill 543.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'm beginning to see a trend here. At least all of my children will be there together behind the budget.
As they should.
This bill attempts to restrict municipal sewer providers from utilizing the availability of utilities to an area to control land use. So what it says is if you if you're supplying sewer to an area now, then you have to appear before the Tennessee Board of Utility Regulation before you can shut that system down. And then the other issue it does is says that if you have installed a gravity flow sewer line on someone's property in an easement, that person has a right to tie into it, provided that capacity is available.
Thank you, Chairman Vaughn. Any discussion on the bill? Would that apply to a state project, being able to tie on to a state project if it were feeding a large industrial area, or no?
What I would foresee, yes, because what this is doing is for someone who's had their property encumbered by an easement for a sewer line to serve someone else, if there's capacity in that, then the provider of that should allow them to tie into it.
Thank you, Chairman Vaughn. I think it's important to note that. This bill, Leader Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, this whole line of bills here that you brought today is thank you for your hard work on these. This makes Tennessee work better. It's better for the folks that live in Tennessee, and with the growth that we're having, I think we got a thing that we're in the top 7 in growth in the United States. So the things that you're bringing and the things that you're working on is extremely important moving forward. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman Vaughn, you're recognized.
I want to say thank you, Chairman Hicks, and I appreciate you noticing the pattern there, because what I'm trying to do is we have a housing affordability crisis. And when you look around and say, where are these costs coming from? So many times it's overly burdensome regulations. And so what we're trying to do is attack that to where we can reduce the cost. Where I'm concerned about the generation that my children are in, and those younger than them, of maybe home ownership is too expensive for them. And hopefully we can do something to get it back within the reach of all generations.
Thank you, Chairman Vaughn. I'm really excited about the bill. And the fact that we just recreated Spies Like Us by saying chairman instead of doctor 500 times. So without objection, since the bill does have a cost, we're going to have to place it behind the budget and consider it later date. So without objection, House Bill 543 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Thank you, Chairman. We're going to go back to Chairman Todd, who was item number 18 on the calendar. So without objection, House Bill 124 by Chairman Todd. We do have a motion and second on the bill. Chairman Todd, you are recognized.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you bearing with me as I attend other committees. This bill removes the coal combustion residuals from the Environmental Protection Fund statute. It adds the Division of Mining and Geological Resources to the named divisions under the statute. And it authorized the Air Pollution Control Board to raise the maximum per ton fee for non-Title V sources from $18.75 cap right now to $38 as a cap. That doesn't mean those fees are going up. It only means that it gives the ability for them to come before GovOps and request an increase in the future.
Thank you, Chairman Todd. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, are we ready to vote? Madam Clerk, please open the board for a vote. Those in favor of House Bill 124 moving to full finance, please vote aye. Those opposed, vote no. Has everyone voted? Would anyone like to change their vote, including me? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please take the vote?
Mr. Chairman, you have 10 ayes, 0 noes.
The ayes do have it. House Bill 124 moves to full finance.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chairman Todd. We're back to the calendar on item number 23. I see Chairman White is back in the room. House Bill 930 by Chairman White. You have a motion and second. Chairman White, you're recognized on House Bill 930.
Thank you, Chairman. The committee, House Bill 930 is one that we're really kind of updating something that was passed back in 1986. In 1986, the Home Buyers Revolving Loan Fund was created to support down payment assistance for low and moderate income families. It was managed under THDA, Tennessee Housing Development. Well, because of the 1980s era terms with limits that made the program, it has made the program less attractive with the lower interest rates and moderate rates that we have periods today. So what's happened, we can't really, because of those limits that were passed under the 1986 legislation, there's actually $3.1 million in this revolving fund that's really not accessible. So this legislation will update that, and it will allow that this money to be assessed, and will still go to low and moderate income families to draw from for loans, down payment loans, but it also serve to help those who build low and moderate income family housing, that they will be able to access this also. And that's the basic part of the party. It still will be under Tennessee Housing Development Agency, and that's the gist of this legislation.
Thank you, Chairman White. Any discussion for Chairman White? Seeing none, this bill does have a cost, and so we're going to have to place it behind the budget. So without objection, House Bill 930 goes behind the budget.
Thank you.
Item
committee.
number 24 on your calendar. Representative Garrett is at the back of the room. House Bill 910 by Representative Garrett. We have a motion and second on the bill. Representative Garrett, you are recognized on House Bill 910.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. House Bill 910 transfers the Human Rights Commission underneath the authority of the Attorney General. And given that this does have an impact, I think I know where this is probably going to end up, but I'll be happy to take any questions the committee maybe have, but I understand there'll be another time for that if it does indeed get out from underneath the budget hole, so to speak.
You are a blessed man. This is a bill that was funded in the budget, so therefore we're going to, sorry, it is just a transfer. So we are going to vote. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, are we ready to take a vote? Madam Clerk, please open the vote. Hold on one second. Chairman Shaw, you're recognized.
Thank you,
Or
Mr. Chairman.
Representative Shaw.
I did have we figured the cost that we got here in terms of where we are and what it's going to cost us to make this transition? Do we have that number?
Representative Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's no cost. The funding currently for the Human Rights Commission will transfer over to the AG's office. So there's net. There's no additional cost whatsoever.
Representative Shaw.
How about employees and all that? Are we going to be laying off employees, or will we keep everybody? We just transfer them under that umbrella?
Representative Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your statement, your latter statement is correct. Every employee will transfer over. That's why there's no increase of cost or there's no decrease of cost. The same amount of employees will transfer over under the AG's authority.
Okay.
Representative Shaw.
Last question. How about the commissioner? If I guess we got a commissioner, I don't know if we call a commissioner, whoever they are now, but that person, will they hold their same title under that new umbrella as they do now?
Representative Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There will be no commissioners. That'll be on July 1, 2025. There will be no, I don't know how many are under the current Human Rights Commission, but there will be no commission board.
Representative Shaw.
That calls for another question. So what I'm trying to find out is, I think what I'm really asking is, those people who make X amount of money right now, will they remain making that X amount of money, or will their salaries change since the titles and all that's changing? And I'll leave it there after you answer that one.
Representative Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's no anticipation that anyone that's getting paid now and they remain and it gets transferred to the AG office, that's going to change at all.
Thank you, Representative Garrett. Any other discussion? We are now going to take a vote. Madam Clerk, please open the board for a vote. All those in favor of House Bill 910 moving to full finance, please vote aye. Those opposed, vote no. Has everyone voted? Would anyone like to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 8 ayes, 2 noes.
The ayes do have it. House Bill 910 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Thank you. Item number 25 on your calendar, House Bill 586 by Representative, been requested to take off notice. So without objection, House Bill 586 is off notice. Item number 26 on your calendar, House Bill 747 by Representative Fritz has been requested to be taken off notice. So without objection, House Bill 747 is off notice. Item number 27, House Bill 113 by Representative Hardaway. He is not in the room. So item number 27 by Representative Hardaway, without objection, goes to the heel. Item number 28, House Bill 24 by Representative Hemmer, has been requested by his office to go ahead and send it behind the budget. So without objection, House Bill 24 will go behind the budget. But that's the next one. Yeah. Item number 29, House Bill 348 by Chairman Hurt. Chairman Hurt, you are recognized on do I have a motion and second? We have a motion and second on House Bill 348. Chairman Hurt, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are we in good shape with the amendment on this one, sir?
Yes, sir. It's traveling with it.
Thank you. This is our maintenance of effort bill. This bill simply says that if a funding body
fails to fund their budgeted maintenance of effort level for their LEA, then before they can increase the level of any of their other maintenance of effort obligations, they must first fully fund the education maintenance of effort. It's a simple fix that strengthens existing maintenance of effort protection and makes sure schools, which are the biggest budgeted item in most Tennessee counties, aren't left behind due to unrealistic projections from other sources. Basically, members, it gives teeth to the maintenance of effort.
Thank you, Chairman Hurt. Any discussion for Chairman Hurt? Representative Shaw, you're recognized.
Thank you, and thank you to my friend from West Tennessee. I've been trying to get my arms around this. What's your reasoning for doing this? I mean, I'm seeing that we might run into catch-29 somewhere along the line when we put this kind of responsibility on local government. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Chairman Hurt, you're recognized on catch-29.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And that's a good question, but to try to clarify, what we're seeing is a trend. We know that most of the maintenance effort are budgeted off of property taxes, and we're seeing a trend where they're extending into sales tax projections, which fluctuate more. So we're looking at a possibility of maybe not meeting that maintenance of effort moving forward in some areas. We're seeing scattered counties start to do this, so we're just trying to reel that back in to make sure the budgeted the maintenance effort are based on the property taxes, which are much more steady.
Thank you, Representative Shaw.
So how many counties are we talking here that's in that trend of catch-29? I'm going to use that term.
Representative Hurt, Chairman Hurt.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So far, we have 17 that are listed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm interested to know, is mine in there?
No, sir. I don't see one of yours.
Okay. Well, I asked those questions because my folk have called me about this, and they really have some real concerns about it. So I can appreciate your effort, but because of the way they feel, I can't vote. I can't support you on this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman Hurt. Any follow-up?
No, sir. Thank you for that.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, this bill does have a fiscal mandated cost to it, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 348 goes behind the budget. Thank you, Chairman Hurt. You also have item number 30 on the calendar, House Bill 454. You have a motion. I'll second it. Chairman Hurt, you're recognized on House Bill 454.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is our ombudsman bill for the Department of Corrections. House Bill 454, as amended, creates a legislative office to serve as our eyes and ears and within the correctional system. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I will take any questions.
Thank you. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, this bill does have a fiscal cost, so we'll have to place it behind the budget and consider it a later date. So without objection, House Bill 454 goes behind the budget. Thank you, Chairman Hurt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Item number 31 on your calendar, patiently waiting. I see her, Representative Jones. You were recognized on House Bill 1302 to have a motion. We have a motion, and I'll second. You were recognized, Representative Jones, on House Bill 1302.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an administration bill that is meant to bring into compliance the meat inspection bill, bring it into alignment with the Food Safety Inspection Service.
Thank you, Representative Jones. Any discussion for Representative Jones? We do have a little conflict as it relates to the cost associated with it. So we're going to have to put it behind the budget and consider it a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1302 goes behind the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Item number 32 on your calendar. I see Representative Lynn, House Bill 1158. You have a motion and second. Representative Lynn, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill asks TennCare to modify Part A of the Katie Beckett program to permit enrollees in Part A to use the wraparound home and community-based services funds allotted to the enrollee by means of a health reimbursement arrangement.
Thank you, Representative Lynn. Any discussion for Representative Lynn on House Bill 1158? Seeing none, this does have a fiscal impact, and so we're going to have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1158 goes behind the budget.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Lynn. Item number 33 on the calendar, waiting patiently on the front row, House Bill 524 by Representative Mayberry. We have a motion and second. Representative Mayberry, you're recognized on House Bill 524.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill would authorize a defendant of a contiguous county with veteran status to be able to be transferred into a veteran treatment program if both judges agree.
Thank you, Representative Mayberry. Any discussion for Representative Mayberry? This bill also has a fiscal impact, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 524 goes behind the budget.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Mayberry. In the back of the room, feeling much better, House Bill 782 by Representative Martin. We have a motion and a second. Representative Martin, you are recognized on House Bill 782.
Thank you, Chairman Williams. This bill will expand the PACE program. There'll be an opportunity to have one in Middle Tennessee and or West Tennessee and expand the usage of the pilot program that has been functioning in Chattanooga for the last 25 years.
Thank you, Representative Martin. Any discussion for Representative Martin on House Bill 782? Seeing none, this bill does have a cost, and so we're going to have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So House Bill 782 goes behind the budget.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 35, see also waiting patiently on the front row, House Bill 130 by Representative Renaud. We have a motion and second. Representative Renaud, you are recognized on House Bill 130.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Committee. HB 130 just expands the Tennessee Food Cottage law to allow the sale of homemade goods to now include poultry and dairy. I know we have a fiscal note on that, so I know my place.
A little one. Any discussion for Representative Renaud on House Bill 130? So it does have fiscal impact, and so we're going to have to place it behind the budget and consider it a later date. So without objection, House Bill 130 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
Item number 36 has been requested to be rolled to the first calendar of 2026. So House Bill 882, without objection, rolled to the first calendar of 2026. Item number 37 by Representative Capley. We have a motion second, Representative Capley, on House Bill 83.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are we in good shape here with this amendment?
The amendment's traveling with the bill. It is a TASER study amendment, so
Yes, sir.
you are recognized.
Thank you. This bill is brought by Murray County as amended. It establishes a study to gather information that's not currently available on which counties offer ambulance services direct or versus the ones that are actually contracting them out. Does some more studies and more broadly does some other various things, but it's supported by County Mayors Association, Ambulance Service Association, County Services Association. I think when we amended it, there's no fiscal note, so would ask for passage.
Thank you. We do have a TASER calendar. As a member of this committee, you know, we do have a TASER calendar, so we make sure we don't overload TASER and all the studies they're doing. So without objection, House Bill 83 goes to the TASER calendar.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Committee.
Thank you. Item number 38 by Leader Cochran is not in the room. We're going to roll it to the Hill. So without objection, House Bill 1270 to the Hill. Okay. Item number 39, House Bill 653 by Representative Hicks. We have a motion, and I'll second it. Representative Hicks, you are recognized on House Bill 653.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill makes several changes to campaign finance.
Thank you. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, this bill does have a cost, and so we're going to have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. House, without objection, House Bill 653 will go behind the budget. We are back to the Hill as Leader Cochran has walked in the door. As he prepares, item number 38, House Bill 1270 by Representative Cochran. Do I have a motion? Motion. I have a motion, and I'll second it. So Representative Cochran, you are recognized on House Bill 1270.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'm assuming the amendments are traveling with. Do we need to do anything with those? Or?
No, sir, they're traveling.
Great. Thank you so much. House Bill 1270, protection against coerced speech throughout state government. I'll yield any questions.
Thank you, Leader Cochran. We do, any discussion on the bill? We do have someone here to testify today. So without objection, we're going to go out of session. We're going to go out of session to hear from Damian Alexander. I don't want to butcher your last name, but so for the record, will you pronounce your name for the record, and then you have three minutes to testify, and then any questions if the members have. So you are recognized.
And I've been teaching here for 6 years. I testified against this bill in the Senate Education Committee by sharing my own experience transitioning while teaching, as well as negative experience of a former trans student of mine. I quoted the Educators' Bill of Rights, Code of Ethics, and duty to stand up to bullying. I shared heartbreaking data and other statistics surrounding the negative impact of having anti-trans policies in school. I was unable to make the early meeting in the House Committee when I would have shared the reality of trans identities have existed for centuries. And I could speak further to all of these in discussion if needed. Since this is the Finance Subcommittee, I would like to bring up litigation issues with this bill. While the legislation shields those who do not honor people's names and pronouns from lawsuits in state courts, it does not protect them in federal courts. So encouraging teachers, staff, and students to ignore someone's name and pronouns is an invitation to expensive litigation dealing with free speech, Title IX and Title VII. The Supreme Court's Bostock versus Clayton County still protects LGBTQ people in the workplace, so this bill will lead school districts into federal lawsuits. It is written that this bill prohibits trans teachers like myself from asking coworkers and students to address us correctly and respectfully. I know many will be taking civil action if their job is put at risk, and I know supportive families of trans students will also take action for their children if they face bullying and discrimination. Any schools violating Title IX do not get funding, and when more teachers leave, more money has to be spent to bring others in. So I ask you to please vote no on HB 1270, if not to save trans lives, then to save Tennessee education dollars. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. If you don't mind, will you state your name for me again? The microphone was off. I just want to make sure it was on the record.
I appreciate that. My name is Damian Alexander Buglio.
Thank you. Any discussion for Mr. Buglio while we're out of session? Thank you for your testimony here today. Very appreciate that very much. So without objection, we're going to go back into session. Okay. Without objection, we're going to go back out of session. Representative Shaw, you are recognized for discussion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. How often have you, if you kept up with that, how often have you experienced this ordeal of people not calling the names? Because what I'm understanding is you are here to say you want people to be able to call people what they want to be called. So how often have you experienced people not being called what they would like to be called?
A handful of times. Now, I will say that both the schools I've worked at have been very supportive from administration, and not giving out discipline to people who have not honored people's names or pronouns, but more just having a restorative conversation with it. But one really stark confrontation I've had was actually during 2020 when we were on virtual learning. I had a parent, when I just asked the student to call me Teacher Buglio instead of Miss Buglio, I asked her, I just said, hey, just remember it's Teacher Buglio. The parent actually went onto the screen and started cussing me out about it in front of the class of the other first graders that were there. So that was the biggest confrontation I've had with just correcting someone on how to address me.
Representative Shaw.
What about from the standpoint of birth certificates? People not calling you or anyone else names according to birth certificates. I'm just trying to feel where you're coming from on this.
So I know just from other trans educators, they definitely, especially not in Nashville, but in surrounding areas that don't have as much representation, do encounter this a lot more than I do. being in schools and administration that aren't as supportive. Now, when it comes to students, their students often ask to be called different nicknames and things like that that aren't their birth certificate name. Some of them are derivative thereof, as is stated in the bill, but some aren't. And I also teach a drama club. So when we're acting in Aladdin, we're often, when they're on stage, calling them by the characters' names. So I'm curious, like, where does that fall under this bill as well? But in terms of birth certificates, it's a case-by-case basis of, one, if that student wants to go by their first name or their middle name or a nickname thereof or something totally different. I don't have the numbers on that, though.
Last question. How does this affect the learning? Is there an effect there?
I would say it does, because for trans students, being recognized and being trusted that they know who they are is the first step to feeling welcomed, like they belong in the classroom. And for any student, regardless of their sex or their gender, feeling like they belong opens up doors to learning. If they feel like they do not belong in the classroom, or the teachers feel like they do not belong in the school, that causes anxiety, and that can cause depression as well, which directly impacts their test scores, their ability to focus, their ability to follow simple directions to someone who they should trust, but that trust is displaced because they're simply not being addressed how they want to be addressed.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Shaw. Any further discussion for Mr. Buglio? Seeing none, we're going to go back into session. So without objection, we're going back in session. Any further discussion on the bill? Representative Cochran, you recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, so just to follow up, essentially this bill doesn't require anyone not to acknowledge anything. It just simply says that a student, teacher, or any state employee cannot be coerced into saying something. If a student, teacher, or anyone else wants to acknowledge how someone identifies, they're certainly free to do that. This bill just says you cannot be coerced to do that, and that there can be no negative consequences or repercussions because something may violate your closely held religious and moral convictions. And as far as precedent in federal court, gosh, there's a lot of it, and it's in favor of those to not be coerced. Merriweather versus the trustees of Shawnee State University, U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit ruled for Professor Nicholas Merriweather, who was disciplined by the university for declining to refer to a male student by female titles and pronouns. There's at least 5 or 6 other federal cases that set that same precedent. I'll yield to any questions.
Thank you, Leader Cochran. Any discussion? The question's been called. Without objection, we're going to go to a vote. Are we ready to vote? Madam Clerk, please open the board for a vote. Those in favor of House Bill 1270 moving to full finance, please vote aye. Those opposed, vote no. Has everyone voted? Would anyone like to change their vote? Seeing none, hearing none, Madam Clerk, will you please take the vote?
Mr. Chairman, you have 10 ayes, 0 noes.
The ayes do have it. House Bill 1270 moves to full finance. Yeah.
All right, members, next on our calendar is going to be item number 40. It's going to be House Bill 1344 by Chairman Williams. Do we have a motion to second? We have a motion to second. The bill is properly before us. It looks like we do have an amendment, drafting code 007011. Is that correct, Chairman?
That is.
Does this make the bill, or would you like to put it on, then explain?
It makes a technical change as it relates to who the report goes to F&A.
Okay, thank you for the description. Members, any discussion? Again, we're on the amendment. Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on amendment file 007011 onto House Bill 1344. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. We're back on the bill as amended. Chairman Williams, you recognize.
Thank you, Chairman Hicks. This bill, House Bill 1344 as amended, is the bill which would allow for the transfer of capital funds to TSU, given the same kind of budget expansion requests that are made by departments in the event that TSU meets certain parameters and is approved by the Comptroller's Office. And those funds would be distributed by F&A upon communication with both the chairs of full finance in the Senate and the House. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions the members might have.
All right. Thank you very much, members. You've heard the description and discussion on House Bill 1344. Hearing none and seeing none, are you ready to vote? Madam Clerk, please open the board. All those in favor of House Bill 1344 moving on to full finance signify by voting aye. All those opposed, please vote no. Has everyone voted? Would anyone like to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 11 ayes, 0 noes.
The ayes have it. House Bill 1344 moves on to full finance.
Thank you, Chairman Hicks. We are back to the heel of the calendar. Any bills not taken up will be calendared next week. So any further discussion? Seeing none, move to adjourn.